Welcome everyone to episode 52 of Missing Pieces. It's now been a year of me searching, and I still haven't found those pieces. You would think with me having a year to prepare for this episode, I'd have a better joke prepared for you guys, but sadly that's not the case. So to the survivors of that joke, and all of my other jokes over the last 51 weeks, I want to thank you for joining me here today on this 1-year anniversary of my podcast, which actually started on September 10th, 2020. After a very long time of being a podcast lover and listener, I decided that I wanted to have a podcast of my own, and I decided that I was going to make this little thing called Missing Pieces, where I would sit down each week and talk about my life, Lego, and anything else that's on my mind. And here we are a year later, and I've done that. There was one episode that I missed, and that was the weekend that we moved to this house. And I regret that. I should have put one out because I'm a guy that likes to practice what I preach. And I tell you guys, the number one key ingredient to being successful on YouTube is consistency, just showing up. And that is what I've done over the last year. Every Sunday, I sit down, I turn this camera on, and I just talk about what's on my mind. And I can't tell you how honored I am to have you guys here with me every single week, just listening to whatever I have to talk about. I looked this morning at Anchor just to see what the podcast numbers are. I don't often do that. And it turns out that we've had 42,000 plays throughout all of the different podcasting platforms, whether that's Apple Podcasts or Spotify or whatever you happen to listen on. I think there's like 10 different platforms. And of that, we have about 600 listeners every single week that tune in to listen to these episodes. And that number blew my mind. I know that doesn't seem like a lot in YouTube numbers, but I think of it like if I had a room where I sat down at a desk with my computer open with all my thoughts on it, and I had the doors opened up for people to come in and listen to what I have to say. And to see 600 people filter through there and all take a seat to sit down and sit there and look at me, I would be terrified, first of all. But when you think about it in physical numbers, it's unreal, man. And it's just crazy. And again, it's just a huge honor for you guys to be here for something that I don't know how much actual value it provides, being that I'm just sharing who I am and the things that I'm thinking about, but in the feedback that I get, and this week we had a lot of amazing feedback that I'm like super excited to get to, I can tell that this podcast has some value to people out there and some power, and it's awesome. So thank you guys for being here, and thank you for tuning in this week to our 52nd episode. 1 year in, and I still love this just as much as I did the very first time that I sat down to do it. This is my favorite thing that I do on this channel, and for those of you that are wondering, I have no plans of stopping this anytime in the future. So continue to tune in and see what's going on in my life, which, speaking of my life and awesome things that happened and things that made me feel good. First of all, today I woke up, and I always check all my things like most of us do. We get on our phones and we check, and I get on Instagram and I try to reply to anybody that sends me a message, as long as it's something like, even if it's just hi, I just say hi back. But I got a really sweet message from someone today. I'm not going to share it here because it was personal. I'm not going to get emotional in this episode. I made a pledge to myself. We're going to make a pledge. I can't do that. I was going to say I was going to make a pledge for the next year not to get emotional in my episodes, but we all know that's not possible. But I got a really nice message from someone, and I just wanted to say that it really just set me off on a positive path today, because you don't know, I get messages from people saying how much the thing I do means to them and how it's impacted them, but I get a message like that, you don't know how that impacts me, and it's just awesome. So thank you. I won't even say your name. Thank you for sending me that message today. It meant a lot to me. Frick. Oh, episode 52. We're in for it, boys. I also want to say, on a similar note, Friday I put out a video about my DC CMF stand that I made in conjunction with Bricks in Lithuania, who's a huge supporter of this podcast. Oftentimes puts the timestamps down below for you guys that are in a hurry. And we worked on that design together, and then I actually built it up this week. And it's always a little scary putting something out to the world that you designed or something you created that's not official Lego or whatever, because you always expect people to be like, yeah, that's crap, or you suck at life, kill yourself, the typical YouTube fare. But I'll say, dude, I put that video out, and I like the way that it looked, and there's a couple things that I would change about it, but the positive feedback that I got on that, and all the people that were like, I really love it, I'm gonna make one for myself, can you make one for Harry Potter? It was just awesome, and it just made me want to, all of this stuff just makes me want to keep going, what fuels you more than positivity? We should probably tell that to all the news stations out there, right? What fuels people? It's not negativity. It's not all the bad things that are happening. It's the good stuff. And I really want to take my channel into a more creative route in the next year, 2 years, 20 years. And Clark is 100% on board with that. In fact, he's made some things over this weekend that I just love, his art pieces, and I want to share that with you guys. And there's other things that I have in my mind that I want to make. I'm now making orders on Bricklink. I made one on Friday on something that Clark and I had an idea for to create as well. And if I can expect that, I know there's probably going to be some things I make that flop or whatever, but if I can expect the type of feedback that I've gotten from the DCCMF stand and the stuff that I just see regularly here on Missing Pieces, I don't have to be scared to put myself out there. And maybe you listening to this, maybe you're on the cusp of making a Lego channel and you're like, you know, I have this thing, I have a nervous tick, I can't speak very well, I'm not comfortable on camera. All of those things for me, man. And if I can do it, you can do it. Anybody can do it. And that could translate to anywhere in your life. Just know that there's people out there that back you and will support you. Shoot, I'm gonna reshoot this whole thing. If I told you guys how many times in these episodes that I debated whether just to start them over again, oh, it'd be bad, but we're gonna roll with it here. Let's go on to the next topic. I again just want to thank you guys all for, as I get back together here, I want to thank you guys all for everything that you've done for me over the last year. We're good. Let's talk about something that I won't get emotional about, although I might. That's the Bespin dual set. You guys probably saw the day before, I think, the DC CMF stand. The Bespin dual set, I ended up getting that. I bought one for Craggle. I told the backstory in the video. If you want to know like the whole story, I think I did a pretty good job of explaining it. And I was actually really proud of that video as well, because I see haul videos quite often, people getting stuff and, you know, sometimes like massive things, and it's super impressive. But I told you guys weeks ago that I've been trying to get better at becoming a storyteller through my videos. And I think that storytelling is kind of what brings people together and what engages people. Like anybody can show that they got the new, Mos Eisley Cantina, for example. But what is the story behind it? What is it that drew you to that set? What was the circumstances of you getting that? What happened on the ride there? What did you have for lunch that day? I mean, it could be anything, but I want to know more than I have this big set that I spent a lot of money on. I want to know what the background was. And in this case, I bought one of those Bespin dual sets for Craggle because he couldn't get a hold of one. And I wasn't interested in it. When I saw the pictures, I was like, whatever. Cloud City, I have the set. It's in a box right now. If I want to build that little segment of it, I can. But then it's the scarcity factor got to me, and I knew these things were a hot commodity because even that day they were already sold out. So when they became available through Target, I bought one for myself as well. You can only order one, so I made a red card order for his, and then right after that I made another one for me, and I was like, you know what, they're probably going to end up canceling this. So I went on to Lego and I ordered one there as well, and it just so happened to be that all three of these things came. So I have one for Craggle, one for myself, which I was planning to build, and then an extra one, which I was thinking, maybe I'll keep sealed, maybe I'll sell someday. I looked on eBay, and these things are going for like $90, $100. And then it got me thinking like, well, maybe I should sell this. Maybe I should sell that one. And heck, for what it's worth, maybe I should sell the one I was going to build, because I always think of Lego sets like this. What is the value that you're going to get out of it? Being that's a $40 set, me building it at $40, if like, yeah, I could probably get that much value. To me, it's more like a $25, $30 set, but I could see $40 of value out of it. $90 of value? Not so much. I mean, I would spend a little bit of time building it. I would show it to you guys. We'd make some jokes about Star Wars and Jenny and Darth Vader. You'd get a couple laughs out of it, and then it would go into a box and sit forever. On the other hand, what I could do, would I get more value out of doing this? Put both of them on eBay. Sell them both for $90 or $100 with free shipping or whatever. Take that $200 and then put that towards something else that I want, which right now, kind of leading into October, and the next topic here is the haunted house. You guys obviously, I shouldn't say obviously, you guys have probably seen the haunted house. It's like the drop tower, drop ride, fairground ride. It has two things that I really love. It's kind of a seasonal set, which I love. Halloween, Christmas, any seasonal stuff Lego does, I need it in my life. And this set came out in the summertime, but I was like, yeah, I'm going to kind of do that over Halloween. That can be our Halloween build. It's a big set too. It's like over 3,000 pieces, $250. And I thought, let's see, I could have two Bespin dual sets, one sitting in my storage room, one built, then being in my storage room, or I could convert both of those into that set and just add a little money to it. And maybe that is the best route, because I think I would get an extreme level of enjoyment out of that $250 haunted house set. I would have it on display for all eternity here in the brickitect studio, so there's another win for it too. And it's just kind of where I'm thinking. So I'm curious to hear what your feedback is on that. I know some of you guys probably, lots of people want me to give the Bespin Duel set away. And I could, but it would be really nice to use that money towards a big set. And I'm sure some of you guys understand where I'm coming from. But most of you guys were like, "Oh, you're a rich Lego YouTuber. You have this and this." And I certainly do like to do. Well, I won't say I like to do giveaways. I like to do contests. I like to do things where I kind of force you guys into being creative, and then you put something out there to the world. Lots of people see it. We do like the top 5, then I have people vote, and then a winner is picked, and it feels like you actually won something, as opposed to a giveaway where all you have to do is like this video and subscribe and go on my Instagram and post something there, and then check me out on Facebook and link up with me on LinkedIn, and then fax me a copy of your driver's. No. I'm not into any of that. I like doing interactive contests, and I intend to do more of that. In fact, I think we will do something like that for Halloween. I'll do a Halloween contest just for funsies, and we'll try to give something away. I'll try to let you guys win something. That's always my reply when people say, do a giveaway. I usually say, what do you want to do to have to win it? Or what I do contests, what do you want to do? And it's kind of like, I never get a response back on that, because people don't want to actually do anything for something. They just want to exist and be like, comment, and then they get something in the mail. So I don't know. Maybe I'm like a stingy old Scrooge. You guys will have to let me know on that as well. But I don't know. I just look at it like, I can't say it any better than I said it. So that's my thoughts on the Bespin Duel thing. I would love to convert those into the haunted house, and I think you guys would get a lot of enjoyment out of seeing me build that and review that. And I think Clark would enjoy that set as well, a lot more than the Bespin Duel set. Sorry, Star Wars detectors. I did have someone reach out to me and tell me that I should stop being so mean to the Star Wars detectors. They know it's mostly jokes, but I shouldn't be so mean. And I tell it's just a running joke is all it is. And it wouldn't even be a thing if Clark didn't like make mistakes, and then the Star Wars people are like, "Oh, that's not it." You know how people are in the Lego community sometimes when you get something wrong. If you ever made a video and you got something wrong, you know how it is. So it kind of just became like this joke where we would actually say the wrong things just to get people fired up, and then, I can't stop now. It's become what it is. So I think the Star Wars detectors, most of them, they understand, and they find it funny as well. But some of them probably really do get upset, especially with my Greg's Gardening Tips video about the 501st. That was supposed to be a joke, and that's why this episode started off with a joke. That's why I've realized that my joking capacity it's just not there. Although I had someone comment in the last Missing Pieces that said that maybe the world just isn't ready for my jokes, and I like to think that. So I could at least think that. Anyways, that is kind of the Lego-related stuff for this week. There are some other Halloween stuff as well that I was contemplating getting. There is the little haunted hayride set, which is adorbs. Hopefully I can say adorbs is a 35-year-old dude. But again, I love the seasonal stuff, and that little haunted hayride is cute. And I want more vignette-y stuff like that. Vignette is a new word that I just made up as well. Vignette-ish? Vignette-like, something like that. I'm also going to get that Frankenstein brickhead, even though I don't want to encourage Lego to make any more seasonal brickheads because I want my vignettes. I'm going to vote with my wallet, and I'm going to give them their money for that. So I need to get those two things. I think I'm going to wait until sometime in October to do all of this because the Christmas wreath is apparently coming out sometime soon, and I obviously want that in my life. So yeah, I'm going to have a Lego order next month. I'll bring you guys along with me on that. I like doing the video where I actually just go shopping on Lego.com. Since I can't go to a store and show you all the cool stuff that's in there, just come shopping with me. We'll have fun. You don't even have to carry any bags or anything. You don't have to drive to the store. I don't know. I'm trying to justify it, I suppose. One other thing I want to talk about that's like not Lego related. You guys know that we've been doing remote learning kindergarten here the last couple weeks, and I'm debating like how much I want to actually talk about that because I'm finding that most weeks I think are going to be kind of the same. Like I could be like, oh, Clark learned to write a lowercase f this week or whatever. But this week, the one thing that I'm kind of changing up, and I guess a follow up to maybe the last 2 weeks, is that I've found that the schedule is kind of killer. I did have someone comment, be like, you do realize that school is all day. And I'm like, yeah, I know, but like kindergarten really isn't. And especially the educational part of it. So what we've been doing, being that the classes are kind of a cluster, because there's like a bunch of kids in there, a bunch of them are going off mute on Zoom calls, and the teacher has to talk to them about that. She has to like get every kid on the same page. imagine going into a kindergarten classroom and then imagine that all those kids being in different locations with only a webcam on them and trying to get them in line. It's not easy. So Clark and I are sitting there spending a lot of our time just waiting for the organization of things. The thumbs ups for everybody that can hear, the holding your page up to make sure we're all on the same page, everyone have a pencil, the kid that randomly goes off mute that asks what page we're on 20 minutes in the lesson. It's a cluster. So what I like to do, ideally, is just find out what page numbers we need to do, and I do that with Clark. Luckily, Clark is doing something that I can actually teach him, which is kindergarten. I think that's right at my level of education, so I can do that with him. I do like the little bit of interaction that he has in like his reading class, which is in the afternoon, where sometimes there's a story, sometimes they'll get up and dance and stuff like that. It's kind of what kindergarten is like, but the math stuff I just can't anymore. So that kind of frees up our whole morning. And all these lessons are all recorded, so you can go back and watch them later, which is fantastic. So we're kind of doing that. Like, we get up pretty early in the morning. We're both early birds. I've always been a morning person, and Clark is as well. So it works for us because we just get up when we watched yesterday's stuff. We do the assignments. I text the teacher any photos of whatever we needed to send her. And sometimes, in a couple days this week, we were literally done before school even started, which it starts at like 9:30. We'd be done by 9 a.m. And then it's like, let's do our adventures for the rest of the day. And I've been having a heck of a fun time documenting and recording all of that. I've been trying to do a vlog every day of what we're doing, whether it be in school and then like the little extra thing we do. Because I have a message over there. I have a message a lot of places, but my message on Greg's World is that every day is special, even if it feels like it's not. And it's just like, it's just another Tuesday. There's something about that day that makes it special. And I know if I go back a year ago and watch videos, I'll be like, oh man, I remember that day. Or maybe I don't remember that day, but that's cool to have that recorded. So my video time capsule is exploding exponentially, as is Clark's. He's still doing his GoPro vlogs. I actually just bought a 5 terabyte external hard drive to dump all of his footage onto. I'm not deleting anything. It's just all going to be there. So we're just vlogging it up and having a good time. I just wanted to share that little update with you. And maybe each week we'll do like a little bit of, I'll just tell you what we're working on or some type of update regarding remote learning. But if you are genuinely curious about what's happening with that, you can go over to Greg's World and subscribe to our vlogs there. And they've been some vlogs, 25-minute vlogs, 15-minute vlogs. Like they're long and it's a lot to edit, but I feel like it's almost like every day is almost like a television episode, and without the production and the acting and the quality. It's like a television episode if all you had was a $500 camera and you followed your son around doing stuff with him all day. If that sounds appealing to you, that's my sales approach. Click the link down below and join us on Greg's World. It's a good time over there, and we'd love to have you. What else, guys? Gamer tech news. Should we move on to that here? Let's talk about me really enjoying Fortnite. I'm sorry, everyone out there. I've been having a lot of fun with that, mainly because I like the social aspect of it. I get to hang out with my buddies. Fortnite with fans became a thing last week. Did that last Sunday, and that was a good time. Everybody was really cool, and you know, it's just fun getting to talk to the peeps that watch the channels and stuff. So I've been enjoying that. Getting into Rocket League, which this week, if you guys want to get into Rocket League, which is it's a soccer game where you play as cars. You're driving cars around this soccer field or football, and you're hitting the soccer ball and you try to put it in a goal. Lots of fun, super addictive. It's going free to play this Wednesday, and if you get that game and if you want to join me on my Gamer Tech channel, which is linked down below, I'm more than happy to do Rocket League with friends or fans or whatever you want to call it as well, and have fun there. So I'm enjoying that, like these arcadey games. And there's going to be more discussion of that next week because I have something coming this week that I won't talk about too much now, because I think it's going to be like one of our highlights of the week that I'm going to share. And it's kind of going back into my childhood a little bit. So I'm going to leave that on a bit of a cliffhanger. But speaking of my childhood, there's a game that I got yesterday that I pre-ordered maybe like 3 weeks ago, and that was Super Mario 3D All-Stars. And if you guys don't know about this game, how are we doing on time? We're okay. We're good. Super Mario All-Stars, 3D All-Stars, is a game for the Nintendo Switch that compiles all the Mario games of maybe your childhood and kind of my adulthood and childhood, I guess. Super Mario 64, which was the first game that I got for Super Nintendo. Wow, that would have been ahead of my time. For N64, I got that in Christmas of '97. First game I got. Blew my friggin' mind going from this Sega Genesis to the N64. I'm just like, what? Could graphics get any better than this? Because I don't think it's possible. Being able to move around in a 3D world, there's water you can swim in, you can do these triple jumps, which is incredible. The game was amazing, and this game has that on there. another game that I loved, which is Super Mario Sunshine, and that came out for the GameCube, which I have such fond memories of that too. I remember going with Mrs. Brickitect. We were young back in the day, and we walked into Circuit City, God rest its soul, almost like Toys R Us, and they had a whole wall of GameCubes there, and they were $99. So me and her, we went halvesies on it, both put $50 in because we had like separate financials back then. And we bought this GameCube, and Super Mario Sunshine was one of those games that I got. And we got Mario Kart Double Dash, which, oh my God. And that's on there. And also Super Mario Galaxy. And that was my favorite game for the Nintendo Wii. So all these games that I absolutely love, all coming out in one package. And last night, Clark and I sat down for probably about 2 hours playing Mario 64, and he's loving it. I'm loving the nostalgia of it. I forgot where some of the things are and how to do it, but it just rushes back to you. And that is kind of a topic that I want to talk about here a little bit after my camera reset, which I'm going to do right meow, and a drink break. I want to talk about how I feel like my life has been driven by nostalgia. And nostalgia, if you don't know, is like, it's a longing for the past. And for me, I think I had a pretty good childhood, and I have a lot of memories of toys and video games and things like that, because those were the things that kept me occupied. Those were my friends. Like we didn't have a lot of kids in our area, and my dad didn't do much with me. I've talked about that before. I'm not going to get into that, but these games and toys were the things that I spent my time with, and television and movies and all of that. So I would sit in my room for hours and play with Lego, and I would play with action figures like G.I. Joes. I would play with Power Rangers and Ninja Turtles and every video game console you can imagine. Like all of those things take me back to that time when life was so simple. And that's why this channel exists. Like the longing to go back to that time when you had no worries and you didn't have to think about, like, does my roof have a leak, or how much is my heating bill, or I need to get my car inspected. Like all those things that you have to think about as an adult. And if you're a kid, just like soak that in right now, because you're never going to go back to that place. And if you're trying to move out of your parents' house because you want to go live this life, just don't rush it, because there's never going to be a time in your life that you have it as easy as you have it right now, most likely. Unless you somehow win the lottery and you have like a personal chef and housekeepers and all these things, and that you never have to, you can actually be like a child as an adult. But to go back to that time in your life just feels so good. And when you see things like this Mario game, for example, that takes you back to those moments, it makes me I just love it. And that's like the Nintendo. I finished building the Nintendo this week, including the TV. You guys saw one video on it, but I'll do a video about the TV because it's pretty cool. That takes me back. And I was doing some action figure shopping this week for Clark, getting him a Transformer that he wanted. And I saw a Skeletor action figure there from He-Man, and I bought that as like, because I had that action figure as a kid, and the articulation is so good. And I feel like I'm kind of getting into action figures a little bit. So beware of that, especially on Greg's World, because it's just like something I'm super into. And now Clark's watching Power Rangers. We're getting those Power Ranger toys out. That reminds me of my childhood. Playing video games, like all of this stuff, just like, it just breathes life into me and reminds me of the good days. Not to say these days aren't good days, because I love my life now too. But I love that time then. And I just want to bring that back. And I see so many areas of things that are being released in not only in Lego, but toys, video games, all these things harken back to when I was a kid. And I just love that. I feel like all these companies are seeing like the power of marketing to people that are my age, that now are adults with disposable income, and they might spend $230 on a plastic Nintendo that doesn't actually play games. And I know some of you guys out there probably relate to this too. Some of you older folks like me. I'm now an older folk. Dang it. But I'm just having a great time, and I don't know, the nostalgia bug is strong with me. And maybe it's just me. I don't know. Maybe I think some people are able to just let their childhood go. Like when I see people like at yard sales getting rid of their Lego collection, letting go of their action figures, all these things, I understand it. Like you're an adult now, you're growing up, you don't have space for these things. But for me, I just hold on to all this stuff as, I don't want to say a hoarder, because I'm very organized, but I just want to keep that forever. And now I'm sharing it with my son, which is something that I could have only dreamed about as a kid. So I don't know. Nostalgia. The nostalgia bug has bit me. It's a powerful emotion. Isn't it emotion? It's a powerful feeling, I should say. I'm curious to hear from you guys. I always throw things out to you. This would be something I would love you to talk about. Do it for me. Don't do it for yourself, but do it for me. What's that thing that takes you back to your childhood? What was that thing that you loved as a kid? Where maybe it's Lego, maybe it's something else, or maybe it's a specific set, maybe it's a Maybe it's Ninjago. Maybe it's Power Rangers, like Turtles for me. Maybe it's even Turtles for you because this stuff still exists today. Power Rangers still exists. What's that thing that takes you back to your childhood that when you look at it, just like you remember the good times? I'd love to hear that from you. And if you're a kid, I think about this sometimes too. As I was writing this draft or this kind of outline for today, I was thinking about, what if you had a bad childhood? Do you still have something like that? Maybe it's even more important. Like maybe your parents fought all the time. Maybe your parents are divorced. Maybe, I don't know, maybe there's a lot of things that happen in your childhood that you'd like to forget about. Do you also forget about that toy that brought you comfort during those times? Do you just push that all away? Or is that thing that much more powerful? I'd love to hear from somebody that feels that way as well, because I know you're probably out there. So that's my push. I try to get you guys involved. And speaking of getting you guys involved, we've got a lot of listener feedback here. And I love this part of the show, and I hope you do as well. So we're going to be getting into all of your viewer feedback, including, so we're going to start off, I guess, we'll start off light here, and then we'll work our way up to some more of the deep stuff, and then we'll finish off with wins of the week. I kind of have a plan, okay? So let's start here with Son of a Brick, possibly the best Lego name of all time. Even though it has the word brick in it, I'm sorry. He says, hey Greg, love your channel, love your videos. You inspired me to make my own channel and to start making videos. I'm someone who has confidence issues. I also have Asperger's syndrome and I struggle with a bit of a lisp. So I struggle with social situations, and putting out videos has helped me with my confidence issues and has actually helped me get better with social interactions. Cool. Thank you very much. I'm going to give you the credit on this because I wouldn't have happened without you and your channel. My question for you is, have you ever gone back to look at themes from your dark age and pick out the ones you wish you didn't miss out on? And if so, what are some of the themes you wish you didn't miss out on? My dark age was from 2009 to 2019. I missed out on Monster Fighters, Galaxy Squad, Alien Conquest, Kingdoms and Castle, and Legends of Chima. All of these themes just look so good, and I can't believe I missed out on all these, and then most of the sets are so expensive. I feel your pain on that. Yeah, I feel that way too, because my dark age wasn't just 10 years like yours was. First of all, congratulations on your channel, dude. I'm happy to be a little part of that, but you should be thanking yourself. It's not me. You're the one that's doing it. So congrats on the channel. If you guys want to check him out, Son of a Brick, leave a comment in this video and people will be able to go over to your channel to check it out. I think that's fantastic, and it's helping you outside of this too. So good on you, dude. But yeah, the answer to your question is yes, I do regret my 20-year dark age or whatever it was. 1997, well, it was more than that, wasn't it? 1997 to 2013 is when I got back into Lego. So 20 years I missed out on all of these. Is my math right? No. I'm not doing live math anymore. I quit. I missed out on a lot of sets, okay? I do regret some of those things. You mentioned Monster Fighters, and prior to the haunted house that I referenced earlier in this episode, I really wanted the Monster Fighters haunted house. I just think it's awesome, and I might still get it. And that was going to be my Halloween build. I remember seeing somebody that came up to us. I don't remember their names, but they're wearing brickitect t-shirts, and they came up to us to talk to us at Philly Brickfest. And in their hand, they had the Monster Fighter set that they bought there, the haunted house. I was like, dang, I wish I would have gotten that. It's so awesome. But I did miss out on a lot of stuff. I do regret that a little bit, but I'm not that heartbroken about it because there is so much happening in Lego right now. I don't think there's been a better time to be a Lego collector than right now, that I've just been occupied with all the things that Lego's putting out. In fact, I have a shelf of stuff that I still haven't built yet. So I'm not sad about missing it. I do regret getting out of Lego. And it was one of those things where I think I still wanted to do it, but everybody was growing up around me and it became not the thing to do. And I've talked before about not falling into that trap, but I'm happy just to be a Lego collector today. I look back at some things, not with regret, but with appreciation of where I'm at now. And I think you can do that with a lot of stuff in your life. Like if you just live in the past and you're like, oh man, I wish I would have done that. Why didn't I do this? I should have done that. I missed out on this. What's stopping you from doing it right now? Why can't you do it today? Other than maybe you're trying to get a set from 2009 and it's 6 times what you would have bought it for then, but just go do it. Make it happen today. What's that thing? What's the best day to plant a tree? Yesterday, but if yesterday's not available, plant it now. I don't know. It's something like that, but that's the gist that I was going for. But thank you for that comment. Congrats on your channel, and good luck with those expensive sets, man. Next one is a comment from Mediocrist, which I cut the beginning part out because he was a follow-up on last week's. He was kind of just saying like, thanks for reading my feedback last week. So he's a repeat offender here, but he says, talking point for next week, if you could pick up and master any skill, what would it be? Yo-Yo Master Greg, Sushi Chef Greg. I don't know about everyone, but that's what I want to know. What would be the skill that I would really love to attain? Oh, I should have like thought about this ahead of time. Man, there's a lot of stuff. I would love to become a pilot. That would be amazing. I would love to get really good at graphic design. I think that's something that I could be really good at, like get good at if I practice at it. Because that's something that involves every day. Like I can make really epic thumbnails and stuff. And that's been a passion of mine for a while that I didn't go down that path because I felt like there was no money in it. Little did I know that I'd become a YouTuber, and graphic design could be a very real part of my life. Man, there's a lot of things that I would love to do. I might have to come back to this one next week. I want to ponder this for a bit. I'd like to put that out to you guys too. I want to see what your passions are, or the thing that you can master. I felt like I saw this comment when you put it out there, Mediocrist, and I was like, I had an idea and I can't remember what that is now. I'm failing miserably. Oh, anyway, I'll come back to that. Let me think about that this week. The one skill that I would like to master, I'm going to come back to this next week. I want you guys to come back to this one too. If you've already left a comment, that's fine. You can leave more than one. But what is the skill in life that you'd like to master? Man, maybe my skill would be just being I mentioned this earlier, being a storyteller. I think if there's anything that that could benefit me in my line of work, it'd be being a storyteller and getting better at that. And I know I can read books on that, but I want to become a better communicator, if anything. So I'm going to come back to that though. Give me a week to think about it. Next message here or feedback is from listener JJ Lego 07. It says, hey Greg, next week's podcast, discuss your thoughts on Lego Yoda's lightsaber gift with promotion. Stay safe. See you in the next video. I like it. I didn't buy the cantina. I don't have plans to get the cantina. It wasn't something that I looked at and was like, I absolutely need that in my life. I'm down for spending $350 or whatever it costs. I'd much rather get Diagon Alley. I think I would enjoy that more. I like the look of it more. Harry Potter tectors are cheering. Star Wars tectors, another knife to your chest, I know. But that was a promo you get with it. If you guys don't know, it's his hilt, Yoda's hilt. And my plan, ideally, being that I didn't get it, is to try to build it with pieces I have, or maybe bricklinking some pieces, and just seeing if I could piece it together, because I think it's cool. I'd like to have it on my shelf. It's going for $90, somewhere around there, $100. $100 I think was the cheapest one we were looking at yesterday on the Patreon call on eBay. So it's a little salty, but man, if you were really into the Mos Eisley Cantina and you got that promotion during it, and you could pass, and you were willing to give away the hilt, you could get $100 off your set just by selling that, which is wild. So I probably should have got the cantina, but I think about Cloud City and how it was fun for a moment when we had it out, and it was a great build. I enjoyed the process of it. It looked fantastic. The playset was superb, but then it was like, I got nowhere to put this, so it went into a box. And that's where it's at right now. So I kind of feel like that would happen. But the hilt, I want to try to build. I looked online last night to see if I could get instructions for it. Still couldn't find them, or see the inventory at the very least to see if I could put it together. If I can't, what I'm going to do is get on Bricklink. And I've been trying to support people on Bricklink that are supporters of my channel. I want to give back in that way. So if you guys have a Bricklink store, let me know, and I'd like to peruse your selection and stuff. I've been doing that with patrons because I thought, geez, I want to help you guys out too. So I've been looking through stores and making some orders and stuff too. So it's just something I enjoy doing. I love looking at Bricklink and getting those pieces in the mail when you open that up and all your pieces are there. Oh, it's so good. Even though I need more pieces, like I need a hole in the head, but that's beside the point. Next one comes from One of a Kind Bricks, who says, thoughts on customized Lego minifigures, like with paint, Sharpies, and others. That's something I don't love that much. Like, I love people that, like Mini Superheroes today, he puts together like custom minifigs that look like things. Like he might make like, I need some, like, how about he builds a Lego RoboCop, for example, and he'll take like gray pants from this person, and the torso from this person, and the head from this person, the helmet from this person, and maybe he'll take the arms and switch out the arms and all this stuff, and that becomes something that he creates and looks like that. I think it's called like a purist. Is it purist custom or something like that? I like that. I don't like the idea of drawing on Lego. I don't like the idea of painting. I don't like the idea of molding. I love the artistry behind it, but I like keeping it official. And if you could use like actual Lego parts to make stuff, I think it's cool. It's in the same vein as if you had a Lego set and you started putting in like popsicle sticks and painting all over it and putting glitter on it and stuff. I don't like that. I want it to be like official Lego. So that's kind of where I'm at on that. Again, your guys' feedback on that would be interesting to see as well. Maybe that's something you're totally into. I do love seeing people's finished projects, but I don't want anything that's not like official in my collection, if that makes sense. Next one here is from Brickhaven Project. It says, hey Greg, what was it like when you put yourself out there on YouTube? What advice would you give to someone who else is trying to put themselves out there too? Oh, dude, it was nice for me because it was pretty early on YouTube, and Cody bought me a Flip Ultra HD, which is like what vloggers were using at the time. I had a love for vlogging, people vlogging their lives. I just felt like I was like a part of it, and I wanted to do that too. So we bought a house. I started vlogging things. Made a video about the puppy that we just got named Roxy Bear, and that video blew up, and it just kind of started this thing. I was very uncomfortable on camera. My videos didn't have a storyline at all. They were kind of just like turn the camera on, show something, turn it off. There was no beginning, middle, rising action. You know, there was nothing. It was just like snapshots of my life or things I was doing or going on. And I didn't really have any fear of it because like no one was watching it. I just remember being like excited when I saw like my AdSense had like 5 cents in it from that day. I'm like, dude, I made a nickel. And then like one day it was like 10 cents. I'm like, I've made it on YouTube. But that was really cool. And I don't know. I just had this passion for this whole time, and nothing could stop me. Nothing could stop me. Not my inexperience, not my poor video making skills, not my poor editing skills, not my uncomfortable nature on camera. Nothing could stop me from doing the thing that I wanted to do. And then one day when I started making enough that I could potentially like contemplate leaving my job that I was miserable at to do this, I did it. I did it. And I best decision I've ever made in my life. But my advice to you, for someone who's trying to put themselves out there, don't get too hung up on it. Don't think like, oh man, you know, like earlier when we were talking about Son of a Brick, you said I have Asperger's syndrome and struggle with a bit of a lisp. That can be something that kills your channel, or you never start because of that. No one's going to be watching your channel in the beginning. I always tell people like, just start making videos. Whatever it is that you want to do, whatever your interest is, just do it. Put that video out. If you don't feel like making it public, just upload it. Just upload it and make it an unlisted video or private video. Do that 10 times. And then just do another 10. And then like when you start feeling more comfortable and you're like, you know what, I'm okay putting this one out to the world, put it out. 6 people are going to watch it. Probably no one's going to comment on it, but it'll at least get you started. Don't let perfection stop you from doing something that you want to do. And don't worry about what other people do. And here's the beauty of YouTube. Somebody says something mean to you or something nasty or whatever, it's going to hurt a little bit or a lot. But the beauty is all you have to do is just do a little click and you can block that person, hide them forever. They'll never be seen again. So always have that as a fallback too. Just get started. I can't encourage people enough. I wish I could. I wish I could make everybody start a YouTube channel, but I know for some people that's just, it's a dream that I have and not a lot of other people do. And for some reason I try to make everyone start one. Anybody tells me like, oh, I have a hobby. I really like making donuts. I'm like, have you considered making a YouTube channel about it? I'm like, they're like, no. Okay. Noted. Anyways, next one is from Nate, who just sent us mail the other day. Thank you, Nate. He says, I feel like I'm being pressured to grow up and grow out of Lego and action figures. Oh, this one hit me hard. But I don't want to. I love these things, and I love when I get a new one in the mail or at the store. I'm 13, and I have a weekly allowance of $25 for mowing the lawn, doing the dishes, taking out the trash, recycling. Only $10 if I don't mow. I use that money for these things. I don't have a younger sibling to share these things with. I have a friend that really gets me, and he thinks these things are fine. I like having a friend like that. P.S. Sorry for the long comment. I just need to say that somewhere, and I thought this was a good place. It's a perfect place. If you love action figures, dude, look around on YouTube. See how many dudes that are just like me, my age, that are still into it. There's no reason for you to stop. Don't be like me and was like, my friends are getting out of it. And I'm like, yeah, you know, I still want to play these things, but everybody's growing up. Don't do that. If you've been listening to this podcast today, you know that I kind of regret that. And I would have probably collected Lego my entire life, action figures, all that stuff, and I'm doing it now. So don't stop for any length of time. Only stop if you really want to. And if you love something like that, keep it going. What hurts me the most is I got a message from a kid that said that his parents were encouraging him to stop playing with Lego or stop playing with toys. And I'm just like, you as a parent should be encouraging your kid to do whatever they love to do. Who cares if they're 13 and they like playing with action figures? Like, why not? What do you want them to be doing otherwise? You want them to be playing video games? Do you want them, maybe you want them to be outside. I don't know. But the way I see it, whatever Clark wants to do with his life and his world, I'm 110% behind that. If he's playing the action figures when he's 18, you know what I'll say to him? I'll be like, dude, I hope you're making a YouTube channel about that because you have one heck of a collection right now and the world needs to see it. So that's my thoughts on that. Oh God, that makes me so angry when I see people being peer pressured, whether it be from siblings, whether it's from parents or friends or just general public to stop doing something that they love to do because it's deemed not socially acceptable. You're going to see Greg get fired up here. Oh, Nate, keep doing what you love, my friend. Next one is from Some Nerd 26. So something to talk about that I'd be interested in, for me at least, would be if you could drop Lego for something without anything in your life being affected, what would it be? For me, it would be either airsoft or skateboarding, which I already do, but I'd spend more time on that if I didn't hardcore collect Lego. For me, it'd be video games. If I stopped doing Lego, I'd probably just like spend that time playing more video games, which, you know, it'd be completely fine, but I like having this balance, and I play some games sometimes. I build some Lego sets, get some hauls, get some deals. I don't know, I love doing it all. So if I drop Lego, I'd probably fill that with more video game time, to be honest with you. I know this episode's getting a little long here, and for that, I apologize. Although some of you guys seem to really enjoy the longer episodes. Last week, everyone was like, yes, over an hour. But this next segment here of viewer feedback or listener feedback I want to get into really means a lot to me. And this is kind of a follow-up on last week's episode, where I think it really struck a chord with you guys when we were talking about being 16 years old and not knowing what you want to do in life and feeling that pressure of having to know. We got some messages here from people that are maybe a little bit older and have some advice for you. So I'm going to start here with Mrs. Brickinet's comment, who says, in response to Greg's call out to share, I'm in my mid-30s. I don't do the job I thought I would do at 16 or 18 or 21. I love my job. I am successful, but I might do a different job in the future. So my thoughts to those younger than me, don't sweat it. It's great to have goals, plans to work hard, things open. Oh, those things open doors. It's okay not to know the answer, to try and keep learning. You're allowed to change your mind. Most importantly, look after yourself, be kind to others and yourself, and live a life you enjoy. That comment right there, I think, is some of the best advice that anybody could take from this episode. Like, I would literally scrap this entire episode for Mrs. Brickinet's advice here. It's okay not to know the answer. Try stuff and keep learning. You're allowed to change your mind. Look after yourself, be kind to others, and live a life you enjoy. Drop the mic. We're done here. Thank you, Mrs. Brickinet, for putting that out there. I think that helps people so much. But we do have some other people that have similar comments here, including the one and only Brickstar, aka Jabbo. It says, to all those going to school to be an engineer, I went to school to be an engineer and there were no trains. I was very disappointed. As to knowing what you want to do, most people really don't. Just get out and do something. Some things you think you will like, you'll hate, and things you don't think about you'll like. And that's a good point too. You really don't know. You haven't done much when you're 16, 18. Sometimes you haven't done much at 30, and it's like, just try things out, and you never know where life's going to take you. I think that's great advice from Mr. Jabbo, aka Brickstar. Next one is from another friend of mine. Shot time is my time. What up, fam? He says, I'm about to be 34, and I still don't know what I want to be when I grow up. When I was a kid, I already knew I was going to join the military. More specifically, I wanted to be an F-18 fighter pilot. 9/11 changed my path, and I wanted to fight as soon as possible. I got my wish, joined the Marines, and was sent off to Iraq and Afghanistan. I still had the intention of going to college, becoming an officer, and hopefully getting the chance to fly. Unfortunately, I found out that I don't have 20/20 vision, and my dream would never be. In college, I changed my major from film to political science and settled with criminology. I went from picking something that I was passionate about to pre-law. I never pursued law school afterwards and still have no intention to. Instead, I found myself from business management to simply delivering mail for the USPS. In the end, no matter what I find myself doing, I give it my all. This has blessed me with a beautiful wife and kids, a house, cars, motorcycles, a Lego room, and a large family of friends. I make the best of what I have, and at this point, I do what I must provide for my family. Shai has tried things, found things, but he's found himself at a point in life where he has some success, and the most success of all is his friends, family, and he's doing what he needs to do to support them. And I think that's a very honorable cause, Shai. And thank you for putting that out there, and thank you for everything that you've done for our country, sir. Next one is from Jenny Updike. Patreon Jenny. Clark loves Jenny. She says, I really enjoyed this very long Missing Pieces. The biggest takeaway, it's never too late to do or live your passion. My husband and I have been lucky to achieve several goals and passions later in life. So again, you don't have to have it planned right away. You can be grown up, you can have kids that are almost grown up and moved out, and then do the things you want to do. It's never too late. Oh my goodness. This next one here is a bit of a longer one. This is from Brian McWilliams. It says, Greg, this is a response to Sweeper, who is worried about planning his or her future at age 16. From the age of 13, I wanted to be a doctor, and I did everything I could to chase that. Took all the science classes, shadowed in hospital for hundreds of hours, majored in biology in college, studied 8 hours a day for 4 months preparing for the MCAT exam. But when I arrived at medical school interviews, after 7 years of doing everything in my power to fulfill this dream, the spark wasn't there. I had been taking business classes as well, and those things just came so much more naturally to me. I realized that I still wanted to work in healthcare, but not as a direct patient care provider. I was able to pivot and use my experience to finish an MBA degree and obtain a job in hospital administration. I have been promoted twice in 5 years, so things are now going better than I could have imagined. The moral of my story is that you can think you know what you want to do, chase it with all your energy, and still change your mind later toward something that is even better than what you could have dreamed and planned. I would encourage anybody watching in their teenage years to explore everything that interests you, but my biggest advice is to find a mentor who can pour their experience into you and help you reach the next level in whatever you're pursuing. Volunteer, reach out to shadow those in the industry you are interested in. Just show those around you that you are hungry for fulfillment and success. Don't forget to enjoy the big and small moments and always make time for friends. You never know what life has waiting for you right around the corner. Wow. What an amazing story. All of those messages there, I just felt were so helpful to somebody that's in that position. And I know some of you guys that haven't commented, maybe you're 15, 16, 17, maybe you're 35 like me, and you're just like, dude, I just don't know. This goes to show you don't have to. I guess my advice for this, I can't compete with the advice that these guys have given, but my advice is just this. If you're not happy with where you're at right now, decide what you need to do to get to where you think you will be happy with. Make a move. Even if it feels like it's scary to do that, make that move. And if that's something you don't like, make a move again. It's never too late. You don't want to die with regrets. You don't want to be like, wow, I spent my whole life doing this thing that I was miserable in. My example would have been if I stayed in finance and I did that for the next 30 years, retired, I would have been successful materially. Money would have been there. I would have been successful to everybody that looked at me. But inside, I know I wouldn't have been. And that's the thing you want to avoid. So on that, let's move on to the final segment of this week, which is some wins of the week. We'd like to take it out on a positive note. In fact, this whole thing's been positive in my opinion, but the wins of the week. First coming from Rex, the reviewer, says, my win of the week was probably playing tennis with my coach after a few weeks. For some reason, I like the word probably in there. 501st Brick says, I made a YouTube channel because I had no one who liked Lego in my life. And it's been one of the choices of my life. And it's one of the best choices of my life. And it's been my win of 2020. So this isn't just a win of the week, it's win of the year. P.S. I just want to say thank you for inspiring me to make a YouTube. You don't have to thank me. You're the one that did it. Anytime that you thank me, thank yourself because you're the one that made the move. And Jordan says, hey, Greg, I have a couple of wins of the week. To start off, I've been getting back into Lego since I've been away from buying it for about a year. My passion is music, so I've gotten driven into the expensive Beatle mosaic since I'm a Beatles nut. The reason why I've fallen away from Lego is the price. I'm a sophomore, so I have many other things to be spending money on. So hopefully the Beatles mosaic will go on sale in a couple months. My second one of the week is writing music. I want to become a performing artist for my career, and I've gotten into writing my own music this year. I've been cranking out some stuff these past couple weeks. I hope to soon start a YouTube channel and post weekly content of music and many other related things. I love hearing your story and becoming a full-time YouTuber, and have gotten very inspired by that. I like to know what music you enjoy listening to. I like a variety of music. I really love, this is going to sound really odd, but I love like 80s pop music quite a bit. Like just like that 80s music that you would hear like when you go into a grocery store, or if you just listen to like a variety channel of 80s mix. I also love rap music as well. So I'm kind of like between those two things, which just sounds really weird. But I would love it if somebody combined like rap with 80s, which is, I guess is a possibility. I would love to hear like what that would sound like. Next one comes from Locked Door. It says, hey Greg, new reviewer and patron here. I really appreciated your response to the comments today and your acknowledgement of the community you have built on this channel. I think this series could really benefit from the inclusion of outside opinions, whether you make a new podcast dedicated to that or extend these episodes. Yeah, viewer feedback or listener feedback, it's my favorite part of these. I've been doing it actually for quite a while. I think it's something, okay, we got that part. My one of the week was getting back into the swing of things school-wise. I'm a mechanical engineering student, about halfway through my degree, and I've been exceptionally large course load this semester. Being online has been a blessing and a curse for me. On one hand, I've been able to cut 3 hours of commuting out per day, which gives me a little more time to do things that I enjoy. Conversely, being in a difficult program demands a lot of focus and effort, which is a lot harder to achieve when I'm surrounded by distractions rather than by my buddies at school. Can't wait to hear what this week has in store for you and Clark. Talk to you next week. Dude, I feel you. Like it is a gift and a curse, really, or a blessing and a curse. It's like you have that time that you freed up, but then you're sitting at home and you're trying to do these things, but then like, you know, the TV's over here, your computer's over here, your phone's in your hand. You couldn't necessarily do that in class. And you got to have discipline. I imagine you do, though, based on your comments here, and I think you'll be successful. Last one here comes from Baxter Short and Music, who says, "Hey Greg, I'm 21 from Australia, and I started my first proper job in screen printing t-shirts this week, which I'm super excited about. For pretty much all of my life, I had trouble coming up with long-term goal to achieve this job, but randomly popped up in my Instagram feed and I decided to pursue it. My goal is now to stick to it and really learn the craft behind screen printing while pursuing or putting away savings for my future. Even if it's not something I do forever, I suddenly feel so motivated to do the best I can. Just goes to show how random things can come into your life at any time and inspire you, even if you don't have a plan. I also really enjoy watching your channels, and I think you're an exceptional role model out there on the internet for people of all ages." And I loved finishing with that message because Baxter pretty much just symbolized everything that the advice from earlier, all the people that were giving advice out there, there it is. It was somebody that really didn't think that they would go down this path, but then found an opportunity, is exploring it, is going all in on it, saving some money, doesn't know where the future is going to take him, but is excited to see where it goes. I love this feedback that you guys have been giving me on the last couple episodes. I don't know if it's just because I love this kind of conversation where we're talking about goals and things that we're pursuing, because that's pretty much what this whole entire series is about. At least in my life, it's like, what's going on? Where am I going? Things I've been thinking about. But I love hearing that from you guys, and I like to see that, and not only for me, but for other people, like, you're not alone. Like, other people are feeling exactly how you are, and there's people that are at the same place as you and people that are ahead of you, and it's really nice to have those people that can be like, listen, dude, I know, and I can relate to this because in my 20s, I asked myself constantly, like, what's my passion? What is my passion? I knew I wanted to work independently. I wanted to be my own boss and be in control of my destiny. And I was like, what am I passionate about, though? I need to start my own business. What am I passionate about? And it wasn't until like in my mid-20s that I found this thing of YouTube and video making, and that was the thing. But had I not found that then, I imagine I would have just kept searching, and I would have eventually found that thing that really lit me up on the inside. And that thing is out there for you. Think about what it is in your life. And if you don't have anything, start doing some new things. Start riding a mountain bike. Be like, dang, I really love mountain biking. Or, you know, I'm just throwing examples out there, but there's something for everybody out there. There's someone for everyone out there. There's something for everyone out there. Don't give up hope. It's within your grasp. So on that, my friends, thank you all for the amazing advice that you've given here. Again, you guys give better advice than I could ever dream to. I'm going to start taking notes from you. Thank you all for tuning into a year of Missing Pieces. It's been a wild ride. Again, I love sitting down every week and doing this with you guys, and I'm so thankful that you're all a part of this. For the people that watch it on YouTube, people that are a part of the podcast scene, that listen to this every week, I thank you for allowing me into your ears, into your life. If you're one of those people that when I sit down here with my computer and I open the doors up and you come in and you sit down to listen to me, it's an honor. So we're not going to get emotional again here. We gotta send it out happy. So on that, thank you for watching, and I hope to find you in the next Missing Pieces.